speaking, what do you think are some of the benefits in participating in one of these pro day tournaments?
Hey, ask me Monday next week if it's a benefit, because this field is unbelievable. I think this is as good a field as any of the early season tournaments, as I've watched the other teams play. Again, I think it's an unbelievable test. You kind of find out where you are. It's kind of a win-win in a lot of ways, in that you have a chance to grab some resume wins if you can win some things down there. But if you don't, it's really not the end of the world either. So it's kind of a bonus. All I know is we got our hands full on Thursday. Monmouth is scoring 85 points a game. They won at UCLA. They won at Drexel. They scored 90 at USC. That's kind of a Northeastern type of matchup like we had in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Thursday evening.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
What could playing really well and having success in one of these early season tournaments do for your team? And last time you went down there and you got those three, and it really took off from there.
It's a good comparison, and I think, I've talked to our guys about that. That group, we're kind of searching. We didn't know who we were. We were lucky to get out of Thanksgiving night in double overtime, I believe it was. But you came out of there early getting some confidence. And maybe I would compare it a little bit to last year winning the Michigan State game and going, hey, maybe we're pretty good. So, you've got it's a great opportunity. It's a great field. But again, you could look to springboard off of this. There's no question.
The days have continued with the teams losing that maybe shouldn't lose. It doesn't. I don't think it gives you, like, the guys are concerned, but does it allow them to understand, to beat teams, Monmouth, Milwaukee, whoever it may be, you got to play really well this time of year.
Yeah. I think our guys are really smart. I don't think they get into looking ahead on who they would. I mean, they've understood, and when we've talked to them about Milwaukee's coming in here, and certainly I mentioned Monmouth 5 minutes after the Lowell game, and we'll get back to really concentrating on them today. I mean, they understand. I'm gonna compare them to Northeastern, like trying to win a first round game to kind of get started in a tournament. It was a dogfight, and we expect a dogfight. And but I think our group is, they're mature enough. They understand. And what's great? They've watched all the scores come in, so they know if you're not ready, you're going to get beat.
Monmouth guard play.
Great guards, great perimeter. They're scoring 85 points a game. They've scored 85 at UCLA. They scored 90 at USC. They go into Philadelphia and win on the road on Saturday at Drexel. They are one confident guy. They got a 5'9" point guard averaging 24 a game. They spread you out. They drive you. They kick. They got 3-point shooters. They got some big bodies who ball screen and roll. So I think it's a great challenge for our defense. Here's a team that's in a flow offensively. Can we keep them from scoring 80? I think that's the big thing we'll start talking about today, the defensive challenge.
You said early on in the preseason that your defense was ahead of your offense. Where do you think that is now?
I think our O has closed the gap a little bit. I do think our starting group is learning to play together on the offensive end and get more efficient. And we're learning how to put them in position in the midst of our motion and adjust our motion. I think we've always done that here. I'm getting a better feel of, where to get Bonzi and Zach, so our spacing is good. Certainly when we substitute and downshift, as we call it, then we're really pure when we're stretching it with Matt or Matt. And those two guys continue to be very important to us. So I think we're still a work in progress there. We've really embraced guarding people. And when you have that starting group out there, the length that VJ and Bonzi give you and the chance for deflections, that's something we've really valued, and it'll really be tested Thursday.
What are you hoping to learn from your team this weekend?
how do we play when the lights are bright? You know, we have a lot of guys back from a group that really perform when the lights are bright. But, you know, how does this group do it? This is the first time we've got some bright lights on us. And, you know, again, I'm Demetrius Jackson, Steve Vastoria, Zach August, and Bonzie Colson. Those guys knew how to dance when it was really high stakes. I'm hoping, you know, they're really ready to do that again, and they help some of the younger guys or the inexperienced guys. They drag them along and kind of tell them, hey, this is what we do when the stakes are higher.
In the preseason, the rotation was something you wanted to figure out. Does it look like Ryan and Farrell are kind of...
I still like those two guys, and then I think then you go, is it Torres or is it Gebbin, depending on what it calls for, you know? I mean, I think you're searching there, and that could be game to game, night to night, day to day. But I think Matt and Matt are very important for us to go in there because they really spread the floor. They both can shoot the basketball. Matty Farrell helps us handle the ball, takes a little pressure off D and maybe gives him a blow off the ball. So I want to continue to develop that down there. And then it's which frontline guy are we feeling like we need?
We talk a lot about Vastoria and things people don't notice about him. Is there one area that you want him to improve on or you want to see him get better at?
We were watching film yesterday, and people have shot it well from the three-point line against us, which is a concern as you play Monmouth, and they're going to spread you out. Steve Vastoria is the most reliable defender. It's amazing how many guys have hit jumpers in his face. I'm going to actually tease him today before practice. It's like, and he's out there. I don't know if it's like his turn to get, you know, J's in his face. But I say that kiddingly. I mean, he's very, you know, he's rock solid for us. And, you know, I have a feeling he'll be on that little guard, that small guard that they have. Who's scoring the heck out of the ball at times, along with Demetrius. I thought it was good to see him make some shots the other day. You know, he had not maybe shot it as well. I thought it was great for him to knock down some threes.
You said when you get into a format like this, you talk about the routine. What are some of the things that involve in that routine?
Yeah.
3 and 4 days.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. You know, we have this tournament routine down where on game day, or of course, let's talk about Wednesday. The great thing is on Wednesday from 1 to 2, we will get an hour on the main court. And where you've seen in the NCAA tournament, people sometimes use that because it's an open practice. These probably won't be open, but people have used that to kind of shoot around, and then they go to a private place to practice. I like to play and go live on the main court. ACC tournament, NCAA tournament. I want us to get a feel of getting up and down on the floor live where we're going to play. And then when we go at 2 o'clock over to the other gym, we take 30 minutes to walk through or maybe shoot a little bit or talk scouting report. But to use the 60 minutes to play, shoot and play, get a real good feel of the building. That night we'll get into our scouting. You know, we go into we call it notebooks, where they jot down, you know, strengths and weaknesses of the different guys, who they'll be guarding. We have usually about a 10-minute highlight video clip of what they do offensively, defensively, tendencies of guys, and that's our night before. Day of the game, you know, you got a brunch and you got a shoot around. You know, we go over, our routine is to get shots up, to do some 5-on-0 on game day, and to walk through their stuff again. Now, you know, hopefully you'll win, and then you got another one coming quick. You know, you go back, and what we'd like to do as a staff, meet with the team after the game, and on Thursday night, we would meet with them, give a little bit of a wrap-up of what happened, and then, you know, get them to bed. We wouldn't really talk about the next opponent. Then the staff gets together that night. We watch some film, talk about it, and then usually get some sleep, not go till 3 a.m. because it's a long weekend, come back in the morning, like maybe at 9 as a staff, really digest the next opponent, and then give it to them in a scouting situation at 11 a.m. and then go to the gym and shoot again and walk through. So that's kind of the routine. I like the off day. You know, you got the Saturday where you can get in and get some practice and get a feel for things. And I'm actually going to take about an hour and a half and go visit my dad. You know, I'm going to sneak up. My brother's down there, and I need to go up and visit him and check him out. But that's kind of the routine we're in. We're comfortable with it. It was a great rhythm last March, and so we want to kind of duplicate it.
Is there anything non-basketball related that's kind of a staple? Like
Mass.
We need to do this.
Yeah, our game day mass. We do that. We'll do that Wednesday night. We'll get that in. That's kind of our thing. There's really nothing else. The great thing about these hotels that they have a hot tub, you get your guys down in there. Sometimes, when you're logging minutes and here comes another game, usually like Thursday night, my guess would be, knowing the veteran guys and how they did it in March, we'll wrap it up, have some food for them at 9, 10 o'clock, and they'll head to the hot tub for 30 minutes before they go to bed, just to kind of loosen up and stretch out. We don't have Dr. Jerry with us on this trip because he'll be with football, but he usually travels with us, and he's been our chiropractor and massage guy. And those are kind of things. And you know what you're doing as you're in the hotel and you got game day. That's a time where I can bump a Demetrius Jackson after a meal and sit down with him and maybe a 5-minute talk, but it's a talk about leadership, or it's a talk about, hey, if this situation comes up. And the assistants are kind of ambassadors, kind of interacting with guys and trying to get them ready to play and get them confident and coach them and teach them.
Almost fitting that this group can play at night the way you played at night last year.
Yeah, good point. We were the Night Stalkers, weren't we? I hope 6:30 is late enough. I hope it's late enough. But we had the night shift down to a science, and I hope we can really practice it again.
You mentioned the three-point shooting of your opponents, and that Vastoria has been in the face a few times. Overall, how have you defended that? Have you closed well, or what?
I think we've had some more breakdowns than I would like, and I think that's an area of concern and an area to teach and emphasize and clean up with 3 days of practice. I think Milwaukee made some tough ones, deep ones, and they shoot it well. But I think that's something we have to be really aware of because, that line can beat you if you're not good. If a team makes a lot of threes, you put so much pressure on your offensive efficiency. Now, Tuesday night was a great example that we were efficient up, but I don't always, you can't always rely on that, and so I want to throw it back to this group to really challenge them defensively for Thursday night. Here's a team scoring in the 80s. They can't score in the 80s. Like we got to be better. But I think we've got to do some different footwork stuff, some different breakdown drills. We call it, when you're guarding a three-point shooter, a long closeout. If you're going out to a guy who's more of a driver, we use the phrase, it's a short closeout. Our long closeout footwork the next 3 days, they will be dreaming about it when they go home at night. We got to get out there more. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a great Thanksgiving.